morning. It's already starting. All right, so this week, my son Nick is going to be joining me up here, and we're going to do some quick winterizing of the cabin. We are going to go ahead and winterize the sandpoint well, and I have just a little bit of decking I have to do on the bathhouse. I've got to bring in the instantaneous water heater so that we don't have to worry about that freezing. I'm a little bit worried about that because it's already been, like I said, it was down to 20 degrees last night, but it was indoors, so it was inside my unheated garage, so I'm hoping that everything will be just fine. But if you have any of those instantaneous water heaters or anything like that, just a general reminder, this is the time of the year to bring this stuff in and go ahead and start charging up those batteries for the over the winter storage. So even though I'm winterizing the cabin right now, it's not because I'm not going to come up here in the winter, but obviously I just want to get a few things straightened out so that we don't have to worry about any freeze damage. So, all right, I don't know how long a video this is going to be. I've got to get back. My congratulations to my oldest son, Shorts, and his wife. They purchased their first home. So the last couple of weeks, they gutted the house, and I've been over there darn near every night helping them out. And that's been kind of a cool experience. It's been a real bonding experience, and I appreciate that opportunity. All right, I'm gonna go outside and start getting that deck put together, and I think Nick is gonna be showing up with my wife probably in about an hour or two. So let's get to work, so by the time they get up here we can enjoy life a little bit. Oh, you gotta check out this fire. There's nothing like heating your home or your cabin with fire. I just put that log on there and it's already starting to go. All right, in today's project, because I forgot my cordless screw gun, we are going to put this deck together the old-fashioned way. And we are going to go ahead and use a corded screw gun. Oh, the joy, how fun that's going to be. Solar's working hard, so I turned on the solar unit and we're ready to go ahead and get this project started. I'm going to keep this real basic. You know, for a lot of you people, this is probably just going to be a review, but I am amazed at how many people I watch on YouTube that do their decks a different way than me. So keep your eye on this, and I'll point out some of the differences on how I do decking. So we already have the green treated lumber here. I picked up some I don't know if those are 1x4s or what they are, but no, probably 1x6s. I went ahead and arranged them so that all the writing, you know, when they cut it at the lumber yard, and treat it and all that other good stuff, they usually stamp their labels on it. So just a little helpful hint, I made sure that all the printing and all the labels were to the back side. Sounds basic, but I can't believe how many people's decks I go to and you see that stupid writing on their deck even like a year or two after it's been in. So all right, I've got the cord out here, let's get to work. Here's the small little deck that we're going to be putting in today, and the reason I'm kind of rushing is, I don't know if you pick it up on the boards, but they're already starting to ice up and it's kind of melting as this day goes on, but I want to get those boards all screwed down so that I don't have to worry about them warping over the winter months. So that's what we're going to do. So I picked up some decking screws that are treated so that we don't have to worry about them rusting or rotting. I'm just going to put a couple screws in. One of my One of my biggest pet peeves is when I watch people put decking in and they're using fresh green treated lumber. A lot of times they will go ahead and put a shim in between the boards because they want that perfect gap. Well, with this fresh green treated lumber, as it stays down on your deck, it slowly dries, and naturally that gap forms by the wood drying. And so if you do want to put something in between to shim to give you that perfect gap, oftentimes those gaps in your boards end up being a lot bigger than what they need to be. There we go. And that right there is about perfect. You know, you can always go back and tighten them up if they start popping up, but that screw right there is perfect. You won't rub your bottom of your foot against it, and yeah, you don't have any splinters peeling up from the wood. So if you got little ones that are running barefoot through here, you don't have to worry about them getting slivers. So the first board is laid, and the second board turned out to be a perfect board for showing you the next scenario that we have. See how huge of a gap I have down there, and then right here it's pretty tight, and it's tight at the end. None of these boards are cut perfectly, so what I do is I just put my leg against the board, and we're going to press that in so that we have a tight fit, and then I'll go ahead and screw this board together. And I'm just screwing the two ends together, and then I'll work my way to the center of the board after these ends are screwed in. All right. All right, perfect. Now that sealed up that gap just perfect. Now, if you notice, I'm only putting 2 screws in right now to hold stuff. I will come back, and once I got all the boards in place, I'll go ahead and put a 3rd screw in between these 2 screws all the way down to draw everything tight. And that way it keeps this board laying flat and keeps a nice smooth surface. Man, that board is bowed bad. I don't know if it's just me or if you guys have noticed how bad the big boxes lumber supplies are. Just terrible. But we'll go ahead, and I'm not too worried about this gap that I have here, because as this all dries, like I said earlier, the gap in the boards will increase. So it is what it is. Okay, so that was a fun little project. It only took me a couple minutes. I didn't get everything done because, as you can see, right over there, we're short a board, which I have. But when I picked up the screws, I didn't realize how cheap things are getting. Check this out. In this whole box of screws, I've got 2 screws left. That's not a biggie. I'm not going to let that wreck my day. We'll come back to that later. If you remember a couple videos ago, I fixed the hydraulics on the old Chevy plow truck. We're going to have to bring that thing down here at the end of the driveway. So if we do get a good amount of snow, it's easier for me to push the snow away from the cabin than to bring it to the cabin. So anyways, let's go ahead and get that thing fired up. All right. Hopefully there's no bears hibernating in this old girl. Let's see if it starts. Ooh, that did not want to go. There she goes. Old Faithful. The check engine light's on, but I think that's because everything's frozen. All right, the old plow truck is in her spot. I'm gonna let that run for a little bit and we'll let that battery charge. It's not bad for only starting twice this year during the summer months. You know, it's, well, now and the one time when I did the hydraulics. She's rusty and crusty, but she sure is trusty. Now that Nick is a plumbing apprentice, I'm going to teach him how to winterize a sandpoint well. There she is. There it is, guys. We nicknamed her Old Faithful because it still hasn't ran out of water. It's been a great well for us and provide us with a lot of showers and a lot of necessary water that we need here at the homestead. All right, to winterize this, it's very basic, very simple, a lot easier than you would think. If you remember when we installed this well, I went ahead and put this valve in down here. That's in the off position right now. The reason we put this valve in is once you do get water pumping out of the well and you shut this valve off, it holds all the water in the pipe by siphon. And so the first thing that we're going to do is, it kills me to do this, but we're going to open up this valve so that we lose our siphon. And I don't know if the camera can pick that up. It might pick it up, but I can actually hear the whole well draining down right now. And so we just put this in the up position to make sure that everything is draining. We'll give it a minute or two to siphon out. Boy, she is siphoning. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
I don't remember it taking that long. We got 2 leaves stuck in here. All right, and now I don't hear that siphoning noise anymore. And yeah, that's it. We just leave the bucket on. That easily, your well is now winterized. Nick pointed out something that I did back when the kids were really little, when we first got this property. And I don't know if you can see this little pond here. That little pond is actually pretty darn big. It's, what do you say that is, about 7 foot across in diameter and 5 foot the other way?
Yeah, something like that.
That pond is actually a mineral lick that we put in here. And the deer have been just eating away at the soil, and every year we supplement it with minerals, and it's helped our deer be a little bit healthier, and those bucks, their racks seem to be a little bit bigger on. But you can see maybe in the background, yeah, right there, it'll pick it up. We got a box blind that the kids used to sit in back before we had the cabin built, and it seemed like you were miles away from everything, hey?
Oh yeah,
it's cool. We've seen a lot of northern lights back here, and had a lot of cool experiences hunting. Dropped a lot of bucks back here. Just a little tip, if you guys are deer hunters, you might want to do that. And if you're not deer hunters and you just want to enrich your property, that's a good way to help benefit the wildlife. All right, let's go over our yearly budget here. Utilities. Gas for heating the cabin, that would be 0. Electricity, well, that's all solar, so that'd be another 0. Property taxes, that they'll have me pay until I go to the grave. So a lot of people have been asking me, Carl, now that you've been in that tiny cabin for quite some time, is it really worth it? Heck yeah. You know, it's amazing. We've been here now for 2.5 years, and not to have any type of utility bills or even a heating bill. I noticed during the segments that I was filming today, I left the cabin this morning at 7:30, and I put on one round log. And it wasn't a very big log. That log was maybe about that big around in diameter. And here it is about 1:30 in the afternoon. The cabin is still at 72 degrees inside, and there's virtually really, mild humidity in there. I think we may be at 30% humidity. It's the most comfortable place in the world. And, I'm a pretty frugal guy. We could have built a bigger, nicer home on a piece of the property that borders the lake. But I'm really glad that we chose to go ahead and to build this style cabin. It's pretty cool. Last night I was at the local watering hole, which also serves meals, and the neighbor and I went down there to get dinner, and a fella came up to me and he says, "Hey Carl, I don't know if you remember me, but it was probably about a year or two ago he emailed me. He has a property in Newald, and he was asking me, back then I remember we had a conversation. He asked my opinion on a couple different things, and we brainstormed together. And to see him again, this past weekend while we were having dinner was just incredible. I'm so happy for this guy. He's got a great place now that's his family can use as a little retreat, and it sounds like he's pretty happy with his decision too. So our tiny cabin's worth it. Yes, they really are. And especially when you downsize and you do something like what I'm doing here. I know at first we had some reservations if we really wanted to go this small. Would it really be worth it? And would we be able as a family to all fit up here and enjoy it? And so far the answer is yes. So it's been a cool journey. But anyways, thanks for coming along today on this video. I appreciate you guys subscribing and commenting and getting to know all of you. It's been a really cool journey in my life and my family's life as well. So I'm going to go ahead and kick it back a little bit here at the cabin. I heard a couple of gunshots in the back. It's the last weekend of hunting, or maybe even black powder. So I'm going to go take a look-see and see if anybody's on the property back there, and yeah, enjoy a little bit of the beauty that we have in the North Woods. I suppose I'll have to put on my blaze orange. So I'm going to let you go. We'll catch you next time on Carl's Off the Grid. Have a great weekend, guys.